Oh, we nearly synchronised.
Nearly synchronised. It's a Jungian synchronicity of hand clapping. What does it mean, though, Spud? What does it mean? What's the acausal relationship between this causal relationship?
Beetles fly all about us, and then locusts feast upon them, and we're left with a impending sense of doom. How's your week, Tommie?
That's good. I see the Carl Jung meme last night on Reddit, and it was Captain, that's paraphrasing obviously, but it goes like, it's grumpy old Carl going, "Oh, I hate talking. When I talk, I need days of silence to get over it."
I love that.
Yeah, you wouldn't be a podcaster then, Carl. Is that what you're telling us? You wouldn't have made that. Wouldn't be the Carl Jung podcast. But I understand. I think what he probably means is, I hate people and I'm sick of talking to them, and it takes me days to get over it. Hard to know.
It's an understandable way of being. It's a weird one, because like, you can be with your mates, you know, your best friends and all that, and you know, you feel revitalised and full of energy after spending a day with them or whatever. You go off for a weekend with them or whatever, gallivanting. But like, you know, a half-hour phone call with your mother and you're just destroyed.
Yeah. And like, equally, I suppose it depends on the mates too. Like, you know, it's not just, you could have a perfectly wonderful experience ruined by some dickhead, you know, like
stop being mates with dickheads though. I mean, God.
I don't. I've like 3 people.
I want that on the t-shirt. You know, don't be mates with dickheads. I mean, just don't. Yeah, let them look after their own stuff. It's not your job to heal them either. You know, we've all fallen for that. Like, you know, get into a relationship with a girl because she's hot, but like she's crazy in the head, crazy in the bed thing. But like, you know, just bags and bags and bags of luggage she drags everywhere, and you're like, oh, I can help her underneath it. Oh, she's a great person, and all your friends are like, man, what are you at? Like, you know, just don't like, what is, no, but I can help her, you know, become, and then, you know, 6 months later you're like, what a waste of anyway.
I suspect I was the crazy one with the baggage in most of my relationships, to be fair. So but I suppose that implies I'm great in bed, doesn't it? And there's a certain implication in that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, from what I've heard, Tommie, the rumours are hopefully true.
Some of the rumours. Talk about rumours.
Schlong Kelly is what they call you behind your back. You know that? Schlong Kelly.
Small Kelly.
Schlong.
Sean. I have an uncle Sean. He's the one of the most legendary people I've ever met in my life. He's the real life incarnation of Del Boy. It's very interesting. Talking of rumours, we were just saying that Bob Dylan is that's in the headlines again for.
Again, it's been around before, hasn't it?
Oh well, I mean, he's in the headlines again. This time for grooming and assaulting a 12-year-old in 56 years ago. I was just reading on the RTE website, and they come up. That's interesting. It's like, remember that big glut of kind of the Me Too stuff and all that was coming out, and it kind of died down. You were kind of going, oh, it was grand, you know, because you could look at someone in the headlines and you didn't have to play that game of dead or pedo.
Dead or pedo.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. You see, the thing is, like, the people say, like, about, say, David Bowie and stuff like that, and that they go into, like, you know, like he had a 14-year-old girlfriend and stuff like that, and it's like going, it's strange, isn't it? Like, there's kind of, that it's in somewhat, now I'm going to have to be careful with my words, it's deemed somewhat forgivable in a rock star more than if it was your Uncle Jim, you know, your Uncle David, who was going out with a 14-year-old. I don't know what that is. We have kind of culturally that, is it just that rock stars are bad boys and get to do what they want, or that we kind of want to live vicariously through them or something?
I mean, if you think about your grandparents' generation and the generation before that, like, that was usually older guys and like teenage girls.
Sure, yeah.
Getting married.
40-year-old dudes with 13-year-old.
Still happens in a lot of parts of the world. It's how do you unpick that mind field? You move on and don't talk about it for fear of getting banned on YouTube. That's what you do here.
Yeah. Don't talk about it.
I know, but it's terrible because, like, you see this thing about like what's after happening in fucking Kabul, like, and you know, you see these heartbreaking photos of like there was kids outside of school, and like the girls had gone to school and the teachers were saying goodbye to the girls because they've just been banned. Like, so fucking messed up. But like, What a weird, yeah, just lurking on Reddit. Yes, there's a thread on conservatives thread on Reddit, and it just takes all your willpower not to troll them and just be like, you people are literally the dumbest people on the planet. Like,
well, you can't troll them because they immediately switch everything to flared users only, so you can't comment on anyone.
So, and they're just like complaining about like that this happened in Afghanistan, and it's like, well, I mean, this is what happens when an invading country leaves. Like, this is what happens. Like, the Brits were out of Ireland a few days, and there was civil war. This just happens. So I mean, that's not to dismiss it. It's fucking shit, but like. You can't be
surprised by.
You can't be surprised, and like,
the only thing is what you can be surprised by is what
he's doing there in the first place.
Yeah, 20
He had no right to go to Afghanistan. None whatsoever. And like, the people in these comments are like, "Oh, we can go back and do the." It's like, shut the fuck up. It's got nothing to do with you. It's just like, just America. Just like, let's fuck up as many countries as we can. Come on, let's just see what happens. Like, go on for the crack. Why not? Like, what? No, stay at home. You're grand. No, don't stay at home. Be tourists. Go see the world. But like, stop it.
Yeah, it's so strange. It's like it was like. Absolutely 20 years. I was at $3.5 trillion for essentially for nothing. Like
for nothing.
At least from my limited understanding of military and geography.
You forgot about all the dead civilians there, Tommie. I mean, they did pay for a lot of dead civilians.
They did pay for
dead soldiers killing their own soldiers. Most of which would be immigrants who have the promise of an American passport at the end of it. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Stop being America. It used to be cool. Remember when you were growing up as a kid, you were like, oh man, I can't wait to get older and move to America. And now you're like, I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole.
Yeah.
As a tourist you'd go, but you wouldn't live there. Sorry to all of our American friends.
I think the vast majority of Americans, like going by Reddit, which is, like fairly patriotic when it comes to an awful lot of stuff, has seemed to turn on not even Biden, on Trump, on George Bush. He's been memed again. Like it's like I really haven't seen anyone, which I suppose is an echo chamber, of course. Apart from that one guy on Twitter who says, "Oh, the Taliban are against abortions and gays, marriage, and all that. Maybe we were on the wrong side for 20 years."
Oh, that's bizarre. That's what do you? That's the mad thing as well is that you see all the photo where they're all kind of sitting in the presidential palace or whatever the fuck it is, and they're all kind of sitting, and none of them have a smile. Do you know, like, you've just taken over your country. Would you not be happy? Like, are you just too all fucking wrecked on heroin to care? That's all they do. They just smoke heroin and shoot guns. But that's doesn't sound that bad.
There's also the killing of people and the oppression of women and minorities.
Do you have to say the Taliban are terrible? Obviously, they're terrible.
I went straight to our conspiracy to see what the false flag situation was around this incident. But it wasn't then. It wasn't. What it was, there was one that it's something to do with China. And the other one is there's a great photo of the Taliban 20 years ago and the Taliban and they all have the proper holding the gun now, not on the trigger, whereas 20 years ago they didn't. So they're saying, oh, that's great, we actually trained them how to use guns properly now. They have worked it, so. And then there was the plane, that famous plane that was leaving, famous photo of the plane leaving Kabul, and it was everyone's running around, and it has 1109 on it. There's no coincidences. It's a sign. And I was going, what? Oh, it's because it's 9/11. Yeah.
What's 1109? Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No coincidences, man.
Fair enough. No coincidences, no. Yeah, I mean, those poor fellas, just all the videos of them falling off it as the plane, when the plane was high up.
Land on people's houses and that. Oh, man.
Imagine being those pilots and you have to live with that. Yeah. What the fuck are you supposed to do?
But this is a kind of a really good example. It's a terrible example of how do you live in the world and not fall apart when you're aware of things like this. There has to be a point where you just go, I just can't think about this. I just literally have to stop myself thinking about this because, the implications to my brain of what the world is about. But it's like it's so horrifying that we probably can't even imagine the horror of what's going on for some people. and not even in Afghanistan, pick wherever you want. Like, I mean, if someone living an absolute nightmare in Tala or wherever, that's something.
Well, Tala, there would be in Tala, all right, yeah.
Or
anti-Dublin bias, sorry.
Yeah.
No,
Taliban.
you're right, like, Taliban, hey, I don't know, Tommie. Like, what
I don't think there is an answer to it.
Like, can I help?
There's nothing I can do. I can't. Send thoughts and prayers. That seems to help. I have no idea. I don't know. Because one of the questions that came up in the Q&A this week was, what good is magic, the law of attraction, meditation, awareness, blah, 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 to a kid brought up in starvation in a war-torn country? And I don't have an answer. My kind of roundabout answer to it was, well, probably not much help to them, but if we as a culture and a society can upgrade our thing, we could probably eliminate stuff like that, but to the actual individual. But it doesn't have to be an extreme case of, like, as I was saying about, like, what's going on in Kabul, right, like that. It can be someone that can be living, quiet lives of desperation anywhere in the world where, if you're in an abusive relationship and you're not allowed to leave your house, how is it any different from, if you're war-torn country or whatever? In the middle of the freest we've ever been in the world, there's, any amount of terribleness. So, I mean, I'm open, answers on a postcard. Why does evil exist? Because no one has asked that question before. It's a new question that I think people should ask.
The only thing it's not a good answer to it, but the only thing I'd say to it is that, prayer and meditation will help people. But so your question was about a kid being born into it. A kid isn't going to be able to meditate or pray. Yeah,
because you can look at someone like Damien Eccles, who, like, meditation and magic really served him in solitary confinement for whatever it was, 20 years. I don't know that, and you can go, right, okay, that helped him, but did it ultimately allow him to get out of prison? I don't know. He might say.
Well, he says yeah. He says yeah.
But you see, you're getting into the horribleness of, and I've talked to actual really good humans with lovely hearts and intelligent minds who would say things like, that child just doesn't have a prosperity consciousness, and if they just changed their mind, they would not.
How do you not laugh in someone's face when they come out with bullshit like that?
Because it's just so horrifying. Not horrifying. It's like I've literally no idea. Like, I talk a lot about Stuart Wilde and stuff, that he would be a proponent of that. He would say that, but more in the sense of too that he would say that it's who are you to interrupt or change someone's soul journey or karma or whatever? Like, who are you to decide what's better for them? It's like, if they're starving people, because it was 80s, he was big in, if they're starving people in Africa, the only reason you would send them food is so that you could feel righteous. They're on their own karmic path. They have to learn their own lessons. I'm just like, what? Really?
Stuart, fuck off. Yeah. Just fuck off.
Yeah, and even if that's true, let's say that's true, still don't act on that, because that's awful.
It's not true.
Yeah, I don't think it's true anyway. But
it's not true. I'm not on that planet. No, I'm not. No, I refuse to be on that fucking planet. Yeah. There's no way. No, help someone.
That would be a new age answer to what is good is the law of attraction to a starving kid in war-torn wherever would be, if they start thinking more positively, then the things around them will change.
Yeah, no. Look, I mean, to be honest, I would probably try and make an argument about, say, stuff like grounding prayers for situations like that. Okay. Like if you're living a bad life and things are falling down around you, prayer. I'm fucking convinced prayer and meditation will help you. But that's kind of a thing just to help you see the problems and maybe help you deal with them a bit better. But if the bombs are raining down around you and you're in Syria,
but I think I agree with that. But I think what people are suggesting is that the bombs will stop raining down around you. That's and I genuinely, like, that's or that somehow you'll find a plane ticket to America, or just on the floor or something.
Willy Wonka's golden factory.
Yeah,
golden ticket. Yeah. No, that stuff is facetious, underhanded. That's
insidious bullshit.
You know what it is? It's excusing your biases, racism, privilege, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean?
It's answering, how do I live in a world where this thing happens, is by saying it's meant to happen and they deserve it. That's that's what the answer
Yeah,
is.
that's. I don't want to be that person.
No, I definitely don't want to be that person.
No.
But I can understand why people get to that conclusion because how do you deal with the horror?
Tommie, at the same time, like the two of us have to say like I'm literally doing nothing to help what's happening in Kabul.
Sure, yeah.
Well, what can I do?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what can I do? Okay, cool. I can send money to the white hats or something, or the white helmets, but they're meant to be.
Yeah, they're meant to be as bad.
You know,
yeah, who knows what's going on with them? Yeah.
Red Cross, yeah, Medicine Sans Frontier or Doctors Sans Frontier, whatever they're called. Cool, yeah, you can do that, but are you helping? Yeah, okay. Well, no, actually, that's a bad example. You are helping when you're doing stuff like that, but like as a single one human, I don't know. I'd like to.
I would say the thing that you can help, and this involves a microcosm, macrocosm view of the world, which we allegedly as a cultist have, is that you look at the places in your own life that have hurt and things that you can fix and do them, and you can do them in honour of the greater thing if you want. But it's like, I remember the big thing that was labelled against Damon Albarn. I can't remember who said it, and he was on about, we have to fix Africa, we have to fix that. Oh, Bono or any of them. And the thing is like, yeah, well, can we fix London first? And it's kind of, oh no, it's like, but like fix the thing that's around you, you know, the thing that you've actually, and I understand it's more nuanced than that, of course. And, you know, the level of London, possibly to the level of, say, homelessness in London compared to some of the conditions in Africa. But it's in a case where you can't do anything, like you literally can't do anything, whereas I can't do other than send money that may or may not help or whatever. Do something in your own life that has either resonance or something you can fix, you know, and then by, I don't know, being if we're as important as Almott says that, you know, Spudmurphy is important to the universe as anyone else, and without it the universe doesn't exist, doesn't work. It's so your actions in that kind of state are the actions. It's the same. It's that video that the Charles Eisenstein one of what good can one person do, you know, and I mean there is a kind of there's an argument to be made that that's bullshit, obviously, but at least you're fixing something, you know, or at least you're helping. At least you're
trying, you know what I mean? And well, I think I'd even put it another way. I think you're doing something from a place of love, I suppose, is the best way of saying it, and you are trying to make a positive difference in the world. Yeah, you know, and I think that's fairly. Fucking, if you can just do that, that's enough. You know what I mean? You don't need to write books and.
Well, this is the thing Charles and Eisenstein would say. Like for most people, it'll be tending to the part of the garden you can reach is your family and your thing. He doesn't use that expression, but I really like. But for some people, it is like for Biden, he can do something, you know, or for someone who has the ability to, you know, influence BP's fucking waste disposal management or something. There is, but that's, you know, that's not to say that, you know, from a universal perspective, that they have a better, that's their function in this, you know, and your function is to do that, and it's which I really like, and I mean it is the microcosm, macrocosm, as it is, so I mean that's what, you know, we've been. That's what we're told. This is what, you know. This is what we believe, or whatever. This is the thing. So I mean, walk the walk.
The only other thing as well is that, I mean, well, I suppose prayer and meditation are different, but if you're praying, then it can give you hope in a desperate situation, you know. Yeah,
hope's a dangerous thing.
I know there's the Irish thing of it's the hope that kills you, and you know,
that's so Irish, isn't it? But it's like
I love it though. But like as someone from Wexford and supporting Wexford football and hurling teams, I know it's true. It's the hope that kills you. You know, you're winning. There's a minute to go. You're 5 points ahead. It's impossible that you could lose. But of course, Wexford lose. It's the hope that kills you. You know, it is the hope.
And the same in a breakup. It's the hope that it'll resolve or get back together. Is the thing that prolongs it and, you know, just breaks your heart.
But you know as well, like to be all fucking philosophical, highfalutin about stuff. The hope's lovely. It is. It will literally get you through stuff. You know, and
well, I mean, it's kind of getting into that kind of.
Learn.
I suppose the thing we were talking about last week, where like hope and desire are very, you know, they have similar kind of mechanics, or quite similar, different in different ways, but it's that momentum that, you know, gets you to the next type. Excuse me, well, I riffed. But I understand the hope thing. I mean, we're not going to not hope. I mean, because the opposite of hope is despair and giving up, and
what are you going to do, like?
Yeah. So I mean, hope's dashed. It's better to love and lost and never have loved at all, and or all that kind of live life, love, whatever that rubbish expression is. But
it goes out to them though. It's fucking. You see it on the telly, and you're just like people clinging off airplanes, and you're just like fucking. Sad, it's really sad.
The one that always comes back to me about all of these is it was like when they seen some guy and his daughter washed on the shore, some refugee trying to, I assume, get into America. I have no idea, to be honest. And he had the kid in his t-shirt, that was trying to protect. That's just like that. It's the one that always comes up. She's nearly crying now. Just constantly just brings back. I go like, I have no idea how to deal with that at all. Like, awful. Yeah.
Maybe we should make a fucking pact to charity or something.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. There's a cool thing here, actually. They do in the tax returns. You are allowed donate so much of it. I think it's 1 or 2% of your tax when you're doing your tax return.
Oh, right.
You're allowed to donate. It's not much, but but then again, I mean, if it's 1% of 4 million or something, I mean, that's decent, a nice chunk. Yeah. Depends on how big your company or whatever is.
Essentially, in lieu of paying that in tax, like.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which is a nice thing. It'd be great if other places did that. Although Amazon America have a thing like that. It's not here in Europe, but in America you can give some small percentage of your purchase.
Oh no, you can. You do it. Smile. I thought they do it in the UK. I got it.
Oh yeah, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
I only use the German one when I get stuck and can't find it anywhere else. But it's a good idea. I don't know. Just try and be nice, spread the love.
Yeah. So, well, if there's anyone listening, anyone out there has any ideas of maybe some sort of group thing we could do to, in some way, not necessarily just the Afghanistan thing, but in some way, find some way of being able to do something to help in the places where ostensibly we can't help, or if there's some magic or some group work or some charity or something that could be explored that we could do something. Just, I don't know, rather than sitting watching on the news, just feeling horrified.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Where do we go from there, Tommie? It's a bit,
let's go into something very loving and stuff like that. I got a book called Anam Cara, and Spud says, I've had that book. I've read that book. And I went, hold on. It looks like you're taking your trousers off there, Spud.
No, sorry. I got mosquito bites. I'm just scratching my leg here. Sorry. Yeah, Anam Cara, there it is. There, John O'Donoghue. John O'Donoghue was a priest, and then he quit, and I could never really find out why. I presume he just kind of wasn't spiritual enough,
or he fell in love,
or something.
Which is
no, there's nothing. There's no.
Did
woman.
not get married or anything like that? No, I thought.
No, that's not, well, I don't know unless you came across something like that, but I don't think so. And usually as well, they switch sides when that happens. I don't know him, but he'd be a friend of the uncle's, and he went off to. It was a Catholic priest, went off to do some missionary work somewhere in Asia. Came back with an Asian girlfriend, and then just went, well, I can't be a Catholic priest anymore, so I'll just become a Protestant priest. And he did, and that was it. And then he was like Protestant. What's a Protestant bishop? Do they have ranks like we have?
Vicar, is it? Vicar? No, that's the priest.
No, vicar's a priest, isn't it? I don't know. Well, he was whatever. He was like one of the local head honchos of Protestantism down in my part of the world, anyway. So you can rise up the ranks quicker because there's less of them.
He did. He had a partner, Christine Fleck.
Oh, did he? Okay, I didn't know that.
There was some sort of thing around his will, and that it was as a piece of English, the will is unclear on its face. The judge decided and gave everything to his mum. So there you go. So there was contestants around because he died very suddenly in his sleep or something. So
yeah.
I always worry about when people go, "Oh, he died very peacefully in his sleep," because I know I've been lying in bed after having a nightmare or whatever I'm on, and people go, "Oh, yeah, he was very peaceful." I have hours of torture and hell. Like I don't think it's quite as sweet as we want to believe.
Yeah, no,
I hours of this.
Yeah, no, I've sleep apnea. I know what it's like to gasp for breath in the middle of your sleep. You know, it's not much crack, and then lady beside you, lady wife going, "Wah!" panicking, and then I'm like, I'm not dead, and I'm alive. I don't know. I had a weird thing there about 6 months ago. I woke up in a weird position in the bed. It was kind of like straight, but like kind of. Your head's on a pillow.
Hovering 4 foot above the bed. It was very strange.
No, I was like more kind of in the center of my side of the bed, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Not everything. I was all under the covers, and I kind of woke up suddenly and went, bollocks! I died. I died. Yeah. That's one of my 9 lives, because me and you lost one together in the car in Ireland. Yeah. Me and you lost one. That was another one. And there's others, and I'm like, fuck it, how many more have I got? Because then you're thinking like, well, shit, so in that parallel world, like, she's grieving and the kids are crying and fuck's sake. And then like,
and then funny, your mother's still giving out. Isn't that strange?
And like in this world, like, where's the Spud that I pushed out? Where the fuck's he gone? Has he? Did he? Oh, I don't know what's going on with the world. And then you're like, I'm tired.
It's like that. Is it Michael Keaton Multiplicity? That one where there's 20 of them or something. That film.
Right. No, I haven't seen it.
There isn't another Spud. So there's actually Spud down doing woodworking at the minute, and this is the Spud that does the podcast. Yeah, I'm on to you. Yeah,
I was in shop the other day, and this yummy mummy came up to me. I was just packing my bags or whatever, going out. This yummy mummy came up to me. She's like, Derek. And I'm like, because you have a mask on. I'm like,
oh, yeah.
No, I'm not Derek. And then she went, not Derek. And just kind of walked off. And went,
That's
that
the
was
worst.
Strange. It was really strange.
That's the worst porn movie I've ever seen, Spud.
Anyway,
no
John O'Donoghue.
Yeah.
I love this book, man. I love it. Anam Cara is the name. It means soul friend, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's not. Yeah, I picked it up thinking it was going to be like, because it's okay. So Anam Cara, it's called spiritual wisdom from the Celtic world.
Yeah, I was expecting what I think you were expecting.
I was expecting kind of Celtic HDA stuff. But it's not. It's.
Or it could be. You could actually read it, but it's. I don't know.
You could, but you could, I don't know.
I don't think it's his intention. Yeah. So.
No, not from kind of what we know about it.
Yeah.
I'd say. Well, you know more. Obviously, you're at this a lot longer than I am. But like, no, it's the idea is that your soul is your best friend, basically, and it's this life is all about just be nice to it, because you're messing it up. Right? Your ego, your biases, your everything is like kind of trapping it from being as whole and as healthy and as happy as it can be. I went through it this morning, and I'm just fucking underlining more stuff and
right.
Let me just no. Where's the one? There's one about God and baggage. I thought it was good. Oh, bear with me there, Tommie. This doesn't make for good.
I'll tell you one thing that I have learned from it so far. I've only read the first section. Is that in Ireland, one of the how we say hello to each other is Giagich, which means God be with you, and the answer is Gia is Miragich, which I forever, and I've asked people since, thought meant God is also with you. That was the thing, but it's not.
No,
God and Mary is with you, and I couldn't read the topics. I was going, I like that less. And not in
yeah, me too.
And I don't know. It's just like. It's like, no, just give me God. Don't give me.
How did Irish people say hello to each other before Christianity?
Gia? Gitch? I don't know.
Did they?
Yeah,
Dagged it with you. And we're like, no, I don't believe in Dagged, I believe in Lou. Well, shut the fuck up, dickhead. I'm not your friend anymore. I can't find it, Tommie. Damn it.
Well, can you paraphrase?
No.
No, I can't. Yeah. The thing I got from I was obviously in a bit I wasn't in necessarily a grumpy mood, but just not in a very receptive mood, in that I was kind of going, is this really about like soulmates? And I was kind of getting and then he's going on about it, it's reflected in your friends, and I was kind of going, I don't really know what was going. I was kind of going, this sounds a bit like spirituality for your granny or something like that. That was kind of what I think. But I was aware while doing that I was it was like it was a lot of me was going on, you know. I was putting stuff on it rather than. So I'll probably, like, I knew enough to put it down and to go right to start again tomorrow with that, you know.
Look, there are bits in it that are wishy-washy where you'll be like, oh Jesus, man.
Yeah.
But there's other bits that are just great little bits of wisdom. You know, he has one poem in it. Oh, I give you this bit.
The opening poem is amazing, isn't it? The very first poem in it.
Is that the one? Is it the thing with the river? Is that in it? No, it's not that one. There's a line he finishes one of the poems with, and it says, "I would love to live like a river flows, carried by the surprise of its own unfolding." I'm like, oh wow, that's well done. That's a good line. Damn it, I can't find it here anyway. He says something that basically, like, we kind of walk around with all our baggage and our biases and our something. But here it is. I'm not mad. I opened it on the exactly right page. How the fuck did I do that?
After searching for 10 minutes, yeah. There you go.
Shit, I'm going to write down 6 lotto numbers now here really quickly. Right?
What's the lotto numbers from Lost? Put them down, the cursed ones, yeah.
Sometimes the greatest burdens humans carry are the burdens they make for themselves. People who put years into constructing a heavy burden for themselves often say, "Oh, sure, it is my cross in life, God help me. I hope God will reward me for carrying it." This is nonsense. God looks down and sees people carrying burdens they've invented and created themselves. God must think, oh, how foolish they are to think that it has anything to do with my destiny for them. It is more to do with their own negative use of the freedom and possibility that I give them. And I remember reading that just going,
yeah,
I don't need this stuff. I don't need this baggage. You know, like, this isn't part of the plan. This is stuff I picked up along the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's like,
it's great.
It kind of plays into the kind of stuff of we were talking about over the last while with surrender and stuff like that, in that thinking that this stuff is the divine or whatever, rather than just going, no, just, you know, it's like a burden you kind of take on thinking, oh, this must be the way, this is my, as he says, my cross to bear. They go, no, just drop it. Like, you know, fine. But it's not that easy, obviously, but like, I'm definitely coming around to it. I definitely did fall for that trap, absolutely. Mm-hmm. You know, and it was funny, I was thinking recently, because we've been talking about to you over the last while, since I started on the 5-HTP and changing, I've taken a lot of like vitamins and supplements and stuff to try, and drinking loads of water, heroin,
shooting women,
banning schools, and just seeing how that has impact. You know, cutting down on coffee in particular, I think probably has a big impact on me, because I keep mentioning it every couple of years that I do it, and it's wonderful, and then start drinking all this coffee again. But just how much I have avoided the kind of physical aspect of whatever, my depression, whatever is the best word for it, in thinking it's either emotional, mental, or spiritual, you know, in that kind of sense. And I was kind of hashing this out, kind of seeing what the implications are, what the real thing is. And I remember thinking that if someone, a medical person, a doctor, say, said, here's a tablet that'll get rid of that thing that you have completely, it's gone. That there's a hesitancy in me to take it, because I feel there's part of me that needs to, you know, that I have to have this in order to grow, or this is my cross to bear, or this is the thing that God has sent me to learn. And it's like, so there's kind of, there's an interesting thing that happens, so that it's okay if it's a seed thing, because that's kind of from God, whereas just whatever this medical pill isn't from God. There's like a weird, stupid thing in my head that I again think comes from the kind of new age thing of that you know, it's blaming yourself.
What is this thing you're taking? What's it called? 5 what?
It's 5-HTP. So basically, it's a precursor.
What is it?
It's HTP is serotonin, or I think, do your own research. But it's a thing that allows serotonin to be produced in your body. Whereas, say, most antidepressants are serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which means that it doesn't allow the serotonin that you have to be reabsorbed. So it builds up serotonin that way by not letting it be digested back into the body, rather than creating new stuff. Seemingly,
right?
Yeah,
okay.
Seemingly, because now they're not really sure how it works. They're just kind of.
So what happens then? What happens then? How come then when people are taking like drugs for depression, they kind of have to up the dosage if that's what they do?
I don't know. It's not a. It's still some of it's been reabsorbed, I suppose, or it's not. If you have so little of it, that I don't know, and I'm sure there's. So
this stuff is like the thing that what you have is or taken is this is the thing that gives serotonin a push. Is that
yeah, it's called a precursor, which means I'm obviously not a medical person, but it either is the thing that is part of the building blocks for serotonin or creates an atmosphere in which serotonin can emerge. Because I know HCP itself is part of what so there's 5-HTP. DMEO or something. It's
and
like,
I presume it's like taken in the morning because it'd be no good.
Yeah, I take it in the morning. I'm on in the evening. Yeah, so it's.
But did that not fuck with your what's the evening one? Melatonin.
Doesn't seem to be for me.
You're sleeping okay, like
yeah. Well, it's a seed. It's an African plant seed. It's literally the stuff you get. It's 100% seed. You know, and I think it's 1,200 milligrams of seed gives you 100 grams of this 5-HTP. It's very similar to, I suppose, the St. John's wort stuff that, you know, people have. Would say.
I know that is.
Yeah, that definitely that doesn't work for me, although it's a lovely tea and it's a beautiful... I have one outside my office here. It's lovely. Great for protection in a magical sense. But obviously St. John's wort and 5-HTP are banned in Ireland because, you know, of course they are. You can't get them.
Are they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the whole M1 is covered in St. John's wort if you drive down.
I thought you just go out looking for John's wort and you just get it.
You can, but you can't buy it in the chemist in Ireland. The reason why you can't is because it can lead to this thing called Serotonin Syndrome, is that if you're on antidepressants and you take this stuff, there's an influx of serotonin, and too much serotonin makes you mental.
Okay, so we have to ban something because there's a tiny chance that 1% of the population might take something. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Oh, also be nanny state. Don't let people make their own choices. You know, bodies aren't sovereign. It's the government's in charge. Yeah. So yeah, it was just kind of this kind of notion then around it that it's like that's because there was a thing I kept saying. I said it to the doctor and I said it to the therapist as well, because this particularly the therapist was saying that all of this thing is you've thought about something or something has been triggered in you or whatever. And I'm saying, well, that doesn't feel essentially true, because I have many times where I'm just standing there, brush my teeth, had grand the whole thing, and it feels like this thing descends on me, and I was like, oh fuck, there it is. And I'm thinking, does that sound a bit like a, you know, like a blood sugar drop or something, you know what I mean? Like an actual physical thing, you know, and it's something I was going, oh, well, you know, and then sometimes you can be just sitting there and then you go, oh, there it is, it's gone. And it's not that you're thinking your way out of it, nothing has changed. It feels like a physical thing, but it's totally, that as a physical thing was discounted entirely from a therapy point of view, because that's not what therapy is. So just around thinking about that. Now, I don't think it's 100% that, you know, but it's definitely a factor in it, and it's something that I've probably not allowed myself to look at because of bullshit spiritual reasons, you know, that I've not in that, oh, I need to suffer, but this is, you know, this is my cross, this is the thing. And that in a sense, if I was to take, now I did take antidepressants that made me much worse, so it's not that I haven't tried. Much worse, Jesus. If you're ever talking to my wife about that time, she'll tell you. Just sitting there drooling, twitching, it was awful.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then I went back and I goes, I'm sitting there drooling and twitching, and she said, oh, right, we'll put you on sedatives then. I was going, really? Jesus Christ. No, thanks. That's how you end up in the spiral of that kind of stuff. But yeah, just say it again, come back to this stuff we talked before about having to, you know, to make sure all your different elements, you know, are kind of looked after. I definitely wasn't looking after, not that I wasn't looking after because I always some form of diet or something, but eating and for health rather than for weight loss. Because I've always tried, if I was changing my diet, it was for weight loss. So I've spent my entire adult life on low fat food, and you know how high fat or you know is needed for you know healthy brains and for you know sort of.
Fat's
but I don't know. Yeah, it's really good for you, and it's really, and it's like it's one of the first things that you know the mention around brain
Fat's
stuff.
Good. Sugar's bad. Just try and get rid of sugar and stuff. You know.
Yeah, so I mean,
you drink those funky milks, don't you? Almond milk and
not so much because they're ridiculously expensive. But I've gone back to.
They're piss easy to make, man. Aga makes her own now. Just make them. They're piss easy to make. You know?
The cashew one's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. I'm just trying to drink more water than any of that stuff. Like I kind of.
As he drinks a bottle of Fanta.
It's not. It's vitamin water. This is my.
That has the bad sugar in it, man. Look, you know the bad sugar, not the
the stevia stuff.
Be careful of them.
Spirulina.
Yeah. Be careful of them.
Yeah.
I was hooked on one of those vitamin ones from Switzerland. Is what it has on the thing. It's like, oh well, the Swiss are great. They wouldn't hurt anyone. And then Aga took one look at, and I was pounding them because it was like, they're so good for you, you know. And she
You're just
took
sugar.
one look at the bottle and she's just like, nah, it's full of sugar, don't I? Fuck's sake, you can't have anything, you know. Bread and water.
That's the the effervescent ones that you just drop in and the fizz up. That's what that is. I'm sure they're full of sugar too.
Right, yeah. She won't let me take them as well either. They're full of fats. I'm not allowed to have them. Bad fats. Yeah.
Can't win.
You need to talk to her about food, man. Yeah. She's the food expert. She knows everything. She's had so many struggles.
I made my own yogurt last night. It's been a while since I did that, so I'm looking forward to it today. Spud, get your mind out of the gutter.
I'm blushing.
Yeah, it's communion yogurt. It's eat this yogurt. Just eat this yogurt. Don't eat this. Body of Christ.
Let me go back to your man here. The good one from Nietzsche. He was saying that
well, God is dead and we have killed him. Is it?
Nietzsche said that. Here it is. Nietzsche said that one of the best days in his life was the day he rebaptized all his negative qualities as his best. Could you imagine Nietzsche there up a mountain with his walking stick and he pulling the demons out of himself and ducking them in an alpine river and then putting them back in. Now you see, you fucker. Anyway, is this kind of baptism rather than banishing, which is at first glimpse unwelcome. You bring it home to unity with your life. This is the slow and difficult work of self-retrieval. Every person has certain qualities or presences in their heart which are awkward, disturbing, and negative. One of our sacred duties is to exercise kindness towards them. In a sense, you are called to be a loving parent to your delinquent qualities. I think that was mind-blowing as well. I was like, okay, I have these things in me that I don't like, and it doesn't mean I have to get rid of them. It just means I have to be nicer to them, and then they'll
that was
be quieter.
The revelation I had in the forest that time, where I was going right, like rather than scream and giving it and trying to alienate that dark shadow part of me, was to come home and be loved, and rather than doing the thing that created you in the first, like because it's been ostracized or given it or whatever, and now was continuing to that. No, come back, come in. So I totally agree with you in that.
Another kind of good way to look at it is that, like, okay, so this is so you say you have a bad element in yourself that you don't like. I don't know, say you lose your temper too often or something. But like, what's the kind of flip side of that? So because you have this kind of anger in you, it means there's a quick kind of judgment or something in it. But like, judgment can be a humor thing as well, So when something happens and you can make a funny joke about it because it's the flip side of it. So it's like, and if you were to really kill what you think is this sense of anger in you, then you're going to lose that as well. So it's about, how to say this? I don't think there's ever one side of something when you look at it. There's the flip side of it as well. There's like the demon and the angel of everything. You know what I mean? So if you get rid of one, then the other one disappears as well. So it's that old thing of balance, isn't it?
I was just about to say, balance, Jesus Christ, that fucking
balance, that boring thing of balance, just that balance in your life, blah, 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 boring. You want to have a bit of crack with it. But, I like him. There's not many of his talks around on the internet, because I think he was around just kind of at the time that the internet was kind of only becoming a thing, really, on YouTube, so there's not a lot. But
still do retreats and stuff, but it's like his brothers and his family did retreats and talk about him or something. I don't
know. It's like the Terence McKenna's brother thing. Like, well, then again, he is actually an expert, I suppose. He would go to that. I was watching Terence and Ram Dassler this morning. That was funny. And the waiter, have you seen? The waiter comes in and he knows Terence and he starts slagging off Ram Dass. He's like, oh, this is... Who is? I know who you are. You're the famous mushroom man. You are the famous Terence McKenna. And who is this beautiful elderly man with you? And I was like, oh, this is Baba Ram Dass. And he's like, oh, MS DOS. And he's like, no, not MS DOS, Ram Dass. And he's like, oh, CD-ROM. And he's like, no, what? Why are you doing here? Like, and it's hilarious. So obviously, like, it wasn't planned. The waiter was literally just bringing over
like
the
a skit or anything. It's
no. He's just bringing over the espresso and the cake or whatever. And he just started having a laugh with him. And the director Director left it in. Even the first comment on it was the director. He says, "This is my film. Let me tell you about the waiter."
Awesome. Cool.
It's class. It's good. I've been listening to a lot of Ramdas lately. He's good lad. I like him a lot. I like him a lot. Yeah. I hope there's no sex stuff. I really hope there's no sex stuff with him. You know,
I don't know. I'm not privy to it. There is the kind of only thing the only thing that's labelled against him or kind of criticism that I've ever really heard is that he didn't tell people for a long while, or people didn't realise for a long while, that an awful lot of his experiences were drug fueled rather than from meditation or whatever. But I mean, he was part of the kind of the Timothy Leary stuff from the very beginning. Like, he was Timothy Leary's boss, so he allowed all this to happen. So it's like,
of course.
But I mean, that's easy to see now when you know everything about everyone because of the internet. But if you've only read Be Here Now, say, and you don't know that it's an LSD fueled view of spirituality, then I can understand why people might kind of feel that, oh well, I thought I could just get it by sitting here, and which you can, but you know that you can too. But I'm not saying that's my criticism. I'm not saying that's a criticism I hear other people level at him. That's kind of. God,
I've never done acid, man. I really want to, but I don't know. I don't want to do it on my own. You know, sitting at home. Agnes reading her book, and I'm fucking off talking to all the goddesses. Yeah. You know, no, he can't. I don't know. I don't want that one to let me buy, because you know I'm middle aged now. I want to do that. You know, and the other one, the ayahuasca one as well. I want to get them done.
Get them done. Get those Boy Scout badges.
Before I depart this earthly plane. Because, like, if I'm dying in the bed at night, you know what I mean? How many more chances do I have? I've definitely lost 2 lives, maybe 3, by gasping. So I mean, it's happened for 3 times 4. So if a cat has 9 lives, and hopefully I do 2, that means I've definitely lost 4 by now. So I need to hurry up. Yeah. If anyone would like to send me LSD or ayahuasca,
you can buy ayahuasca on eBay, man. I mean, it's not hard to get.
But same thing. I don't want to do it on my own. I'm a wimp. You know what I mean? I want to do it with someone with me. You know, hold my hand. No. But if I was like, you want to do it with someone who knows what they're doing. What they're doing. It's not like
not just my friend
me and Tommie. Me and Tommie go sit in the field and do a lot of Class A drugs. No, I don't want to do that.
Do a vlog of the two of us just puking for an hour. Oh, this is a terrible mistake. Terrible mistake.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that.
Have you seen God yet? No, just your puke. Oh,
no, I don't want that. Yeah, there was one other thing from your video that I didn't. No, what's TOPY and Genesis?
I need to talk to you.
No, I didn't agree with the TOPY and Genesis PR. What the fuck is that?
So it was kind of the main, I suppose, a thing that emerged out of Chaos Magic, and the kind of first kind of group kind of stuff that came was this thing called TOPY, which where if you hear that Chaos Magician's been called coyotes, or rather than coyotes, like that, the kind of coyote thing, it is mostly from that pronunciation comes from that. I don't know a tremendous about it. There's a great book called Psychic TV, Jason Louv edited, co-wrote something, has some connection with, and Carl Abramson's son has a documentary.
Well, is this all who? Like, is this all Pete Carroll and people like that?
No. It's Genesis P. Orridge, who is a big name in.
That's not someone's name, though. That's his actual name?
No, I don't know. It's not. It's
no. Well, that's nobody. Genesis Porridge. What the fuck? Yeah. That's not your name.
They died recently enough as well.
Sorry, making fun of me. Sorry,
but from kind of 80s, early 90s. So it's kind of the heritage from that Jason Louv came from. I don't know why I keep saying Jason Louv, because there's very little to do with the whole thing. We're investigating because it's like people swear by it, but I think it's kind of. I missed it. It was an ongoing concern that it isn't, and it's like it's not as if you can join it now, or in as it was in its heyday. So, but yeah, just kind of like they'd send letters to each other. They'd come up with group stuff, and it was kind of an underground organisation, I suppose, a counterculture.
All right. Oh, so it's not some dude that like wrote books or anything.
Oh well, they have wrote books. Yeah. As far as I know, I haven't read any. Yeah, well, I have that documentary. I'll share it with you, and you can have a look.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I liked your talismans as well. That was good. Thanks for answering that.
Yeah, the one I didn't mention, it was funny because you brought it up. I immediately made it a safe driving talisman that I have in my car after we both died that day. And it's,
really?
Yeah. And it's funny because anytime something nearly happens, I immediately look to her and go, oh, thanks. So it's like a confirmation bias in that, it's my immediate reaction is to, rather than just go, oh, that was lucky. It's like, no, that's the bag full of mugwort in my car.
She was looking after me. All right. Or his thing was looking after me. Yeah, I have a couple of coins as well, but other than that, no, I don't.
Well, what's your thoughts around it then? What do you feel about it?
I don't know. It's just kind of. Do I think they work or not? I'm not sure if they work, but it's kind of nice to have them as a little bit of it. You know what? It's like the things in the back of your car where it says "baby on board" or something like that. So apparently they help in 2% of cases.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm putting one of them in my car.
Are they not for the fire brigade that they know that there's a baby if there's an accident? No, it's not there.
I don't know.
It's like, I was going to ram the back of his car, but there's a baby on board. I'll not ram the back of his car.
Maybe. Yeah, apparently so. I don't know. Someone told me that. So yeah, I mean, I've one in the car. I've won a couple. I would keep one in my wallet. Not that I ever have my fucking wallet with me anyway. I went to use my bank card the other day to buy ice cream. How pathetic am I? I look like a fucking divorced dad. I had the two young lads with me. I went to go pay for ice cream. She didn't have change of cash. And she said, can you use your card? I'm like, well, let's see. We'll try. Probably don't have any money on it, So obviously it got declined a couple of times, and I put it back in my wallet and thought nothing of it. And then she gave me like 50 quid's worth of coins. I don't care, it's still money. And people don't like giving you coins. Like, I have to give you coins. Like, I don't give a shit. As long as you give me change, I don't care.
But isn't it more that they have less money to make change with rather than they're loading you with coins? Is it? I don't know. Or is it both?
But sure, that has nothing to do with me. Like, that's your boss's. That's your boss's fault.
Well, maybe
for not giving you a proper float.
I have to give you all my coins, you wanko.
Sorry. Well, you can give me free ice cream if you want.
Just give me free ice cream. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
So I got home and I had a look at my thing, my bank card. My bank card's been out of date for like nearly 3 months. I'm like, I didn't even know. Right.
There you go. So it wasn't declined. It was just out of date.
I don't have one. I'm like,
they're not automatically send you a new one, no?
They must have sent it to the old house, but like I left there 3 years ago. They should have. I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Fuck it.
I do it all through my phone now.
Yeah, no, I think they're worth. You're not going to do any harm by having a bad look. A good luck charm with you. You're not like, So why not have something or make something that's nice, and just have it with you. And I think as well, maybe like you give it a bit of an extra oomph or a bit of power or whatever. When something lucky happens, like what you were saying, you nearly had a crash and you look at the mugwort. I think that gives it something.
Yeah, I do too as well. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, so what if it's all in your head? But everything's all in your head anyway. So
everything's all in your head. Yeah. I suppose the only kind of thing that would be that if you were using it as. And you're then being unsafe with it. Like if you were going, I had put an egg in water and put a needle in it and I magnetise it and now I can't get pregnant, so I'll just have sex with everyone. Where it's like you should probably not do that. Or thinking if you have the mugwort talisman in your car and go, well, I can just drive on this main road and not looking.
Yeah, no, come on.
But I don't think people aren't doing that. Yeah. Well, I would hope people aren't doing that.
Have you ever watched the TikTok video?
I have a protection thing with me, and so I can walk past the dangerous part of town, and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
No, don't do that.
But if you have to walk past the dangerous part of town, carry your protection amulet.
Bring an empty bottle with you or something. Glass bottle.
Your baseball bat, which is your protection talisman. put the sign of Mars on it, and good to go. Apparently,
if you put a sock on the end of your baseball bat or your stick that you have for beating people, and you swing at it, swing at them, and they grab it, and then you pull it away, they'll be left with the sock, and then you can really beat them, and then they look ridiculous then because they're holding a sock.
Yeah, that's important. It has to be smelly too. So, oh God, why am I in a sock? Yeah.
No, you'll be probably when the way you were talking there, you made me think of TikTok witches and stuff, and like I just like. I've never watched a TikTok video that made me want to join TikTok. Have you?
I'm the same. Well, I've watched some TikTok videos, but it's on Reddit. Like that's where I see them, if I ever see them.
Yeah, but that's what I mean as well. Like I've never watched one and went, I think I should sign up to that. That's me neither. It's just maybe we're just too old or past it or something.
No, my wife went through a period of like absolutely loving it, and all her friends were making videos. I don't think she made videos, but they're all doing all this dance and stuff. And I don't know. But it's too easy to go, oh, what are you at? But like, if you're enjoying it, enjoy it. Like, I mean, you know.
Of course, I'm not. Whatever. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I don't think it is. But it's just I was more the way I was framing what I was saying. It kind of sounded like I was being passing judgment on people's fun. But whatever, do whatever, you know, the thing. But
no, it's just
like Instagram. It's like Instagram. It's like I have more followers on Instagram than I have anywhere else. But yeah, I don't care. You know, like it's every now and again I kind of have to make a point. Well, I'll post something, whatever. But I don't like from someone who's a kind of a, I don't know, visual learner. Although they say that doesn't exist, or you know, has that thing. There's something about Instagram that just I find it doesn't engage with me in the same way that, like, say, Twitter or Reddit, like what I spend most of my time, which is interesting, isn't it? Like,
I like posting on it, but like I don't ever comment on anyone. Like I'll give people hearts or whatever, but like I never comment because
that's a lie. You commented on my Anam Cara post the other day.
I commented you, but that's different. We're like an old fucking marriage, me and you.
Yeah. Will you get the milk? Will
you? Yeah. Anyway, Anam Cara. Go and buy it.
Is it just you're thinking
that's all I was thinking about. No, it's just that's the thing I was going to say. It's just that, you know, you realise that, like, you're not in anyone's target market anymore, and you're like, fuck's sake, no one advertises to me anymore. The bald white guy. No, that sounds awful. Don't go there, Spud.
Yeah. With the
we'll get banned from YouTube for that kind of talk. The Instagram
ads I'm getting at the minute is some European white long hair dude trying to sell me hair restoring oil. So that's I'm at that target age, obviously.
All right. No, but it's the same like with like film trailers and stuff like that. It's like no film trailer has ever spoken to me in the last like 10 or 15 years because they're just not for the 30, 40-year-old guy. They're for the teenager who has time to go to films. Yeah, the YouTuber. You had the fucking that's all, folks. The demonic YouTuber that you sent me. Whoa, that's scary stuff.
Which one?
The guy who killed.
Oh, yeah. They become a living god
thing.
Stuff. Yeah.
Are we allowed
that's
to talk about this?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so because it's huge news, everyone's talking about it. It's fine. So Becoming a Living God, which is E.A. Coetting's and Timothy Donahue's baby brainchild, which is essentially left-hand path ascension, speak to Lucifer, speak to all the demons, and it's very edgelordy, it's well produced. His real name is Matthew Lawrence. He is the reason why CMG on Facebook originally got deleted. Incidentally, because when he got arrested that time, someone posted his home address in CMG, and so the entire group of 50,000 people got deleted.
Right.
Which in some way, okay, you know, if you don't post people's home addresses, but it wasn't an admin, it was just someone in the group that managed to get the whole group taken in because of that, which is interesting. But the thing about E.A. Coetting is he definitely knows what he's on about, and this is the odd thing. He's particularly if you watch any of his earlier lecture videos, not as kind of, I don't know, vloggy type stuff or that stuff where he's now in the dungeon. But if he's lecturing in front of people, he certainly knows what he's on about.
The dungeon looks awful. Says I in my dungeon.
In your cardboard box. Yeah. You're slagging off the aesthetics of E.A. Coetting. At least he tried. Couple of candles, skull in the background, laughing. So he has things where he makes pacts with Lucifer. He will sell pacts that to people that he will sign on your behalf, and you know his courses cost lots of money, as do a number of occult people that we can mention. But it is all about kind of I don't know, demonic stuff, right? But like he has gone into runic stuff, Viking stuff. He has gone into voodoo. There's loads of different things. But the thrust of it, if you're thinking E.A. Coetting, it's talking to demons, getting demons to do what you want. So what happened, sadly, is that someone took it at face value and decided to have make a pact with Lucifer Rofakil and killed 2 women in London last year directly. And it's like he had been on the forum hours before he did it, and in one way, like, I mean, horrifying, obviously, shocking, whatever, but it's like I don't think anyone was genuinely going, God, I didn't see something like that coming. You know, there's a part of it that's it's not shocking to in that if you start, you know, popularizing a very kind of satanic pact, then people, are going to, in the same way that when the Fixer and someone told him to take his eye out, like people take these things to absolute mental extremes, and you have to be kind of very aware of it. But like, I suppose the line then there is that E.A. Coetting's fault? Is, in the way that Marilyn Manson got blamed for the Columbine murders or whatever? Is he strictly entertainment? I don't know. I think there's, the only way I can say is I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do what he did. There's plenty of things I wouldn't do. I suppose I wouldn't be, because of experiences I've had around seeing how very innocuous type things people can take to very extremes.
No, but there's a difference between, say in the Baptist head books they talk about doing goetia stuff.
Yeah, and not to do it.
And, yeah, okay, they say, don't do this, but like, let's cover their own arses, really, Yeah. But it's like, there's a difference between, say, doing that from like a inquisitive research thing and seeing, right, we're going to see if this works and we're right about it. Whereas he's like, this does work, this will happen, and then you have this poor chap who obviously suffers from some sort of mental illness, who writes out a letter saying, I will win, win the millions or win the lotto? Or something,
and I will give you, like, I'll murder women for you every month.
I will kill 2 women in exchange for riches, basically. And like, what? Like, you were saying in the video the other day, like, why not just do it for a biscuit?
Yeah. Why?
It's grand.
Why kill people immediately?
That's I'm exactly the same as you when it comes to those goetic things and all that. It's that, like, because there's a pact, so you need to give them something for them to do something, all right? And like, yeah, if you just go and talk to the goodies, the angels, you don't need to do that. You just need to give them a bit of attention, and they're a bit slower. They're a lot slower, but to get it done too, what's the rush? Like, what the fuck? Like, you killed 2 women, 2 strangers, because you thought that some thing that doesn't exist would give you money.
Yeah, but I'm definitely not condoning it, but to understand it, if you're embedded within this as reality, that is actually. Choose my words. I was going to say it's very legitimate way. It's not what I mean. It's an understandable course of action if you believe in this worldview and that is promoted.
I understand you,
and not just by E.A. Coetting, by demonologists and all those other things. But so here's the thing: we come back to the question: should E.A. Coetting be cancelled? Should his YouTube channel be taken down? Should he not be allowed to talk about these dangerous things because one guy decided that he was going to do it? In the same way we're talking about the 5 HSBC John's Ward, because such a small section of the population might have an issue with it, or bring it out to the wider thing that's going on in the world at the minute, that if you mention it on YouTube you get demonetized or taken off.
I don't know. I mean, you remember like that wasn't there like a fundamentalist Muslim cleric years ago with the hook hand? And he was banned, deplatformed off stuff. Yeah. He was all deplatformed from stuff because he was saying to go kill the, what did they call us? Infidels. Yeah. Do you know?
But that's directly inciting something, though. That there is an actual law about that, inciting to violence.
Look, I haven't. No, look, I watched 6 seconds of his welcome video and I went, fuck this guy. And then I watched another video as well that I scrolled down. I was scrolling down to the things. All these satanic women are just in bits as well. What the hell is wrong with them? Like, sorry, that sounds horrible, doesn't it? I shouldn't judge women on their looks. Shouldn't just anyone on their looks. I'll take that back. I stand corrected. They are just horrible people for being into Satanism and devil worship and all that stuff. Their looks have nothing to do with their character whatsoever. So I'll take that back.
I'll also point out that I have a number of Satanist friends who are lovely people, so just point that out.
But is this Satanism? What is this?
The people I count as friends who are Levian Satanists, not actual theistic Satanists.
Yeah, that's not the same actually know.
Stuff. Yeah, that's theistic Satanism.
No, this is. I don't know. See, for me, this is this kind of materialist magic of I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, and it's just like, where does that get you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just, you're just in a circle jerk there all the time then of trying to please something that's you have put in this lofty position above you, and you're just begging for favors all the time. It's like fucking one of those bad marriages where like the wife still loves the husband even though he beats her every Sunday.
But don't you talk about that in one of the podcasts, isn't it? That there seems to be an addiction element to this that happens with the poetic type stuff. And I can also see why this kind of empowerment type stuff would be, and I again loathe to use the word because it's when you massively kind of put people in one group, like the incel stuff, right? But you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about that's a wide gamut of stuff, and probably an unfair name. But you can see why someone who feels disempowered and has that kind of mentality and stuff would be attracted to something like this, you know, that because it's allowing you one up. You're becoming chosen, you're becoming powerful, evil, I know, and all that kind of stuff. It's very. But that's the attraction of the dark side, isn't it? That's literally the, you know. Come to the dark side.
But is it not a bit too much of an easy fix? Do you know? Here you go, Boone. Here's a dead cat. I'll get a blowjob tomorrow. You know.
Well, like, possibly, but if it works, it's like that thing. If the medical doctor hands you the tablet that fixes your what you think is a spiritual problem. You know, it's in similar territory. It's like you kind of go, well, I don't know. Like, just because it's easy and just because it isn't, like, are we making mountains out of molehills? Are we deliberately making our journey harder than it needs to be when there's a demon going? You know, are we carrying across, as John O'Donnell just said, we don't need to be, you know, his God was saying. I don't know, and I'm literally. Yeah, no, I
know it's, but they're good questions. They're important questions, but only the individual themselves can answer that. And I would kind of posit that most people, if they took the time to actually address the question properly, would then see, this isn't the right way of doing it.
Well, I have a good practical example of this from my own life. When I was into photography, and you had to have 3 colour photos, 3 black and white every month. And it was, graded and think whatever. And it was a very kind of thing came to me because I could 100%, no question, magic getting a winning place out of that. Because it's perfect for a magic technique. You could, and you can debate whether I could or not, but let's say I could. And I was going like, I absolutely would not want to win by using magic. You know, I would want to win because my photo's good enough. I get you. But so, I mean, it's the exact same outcome, but it's a completely different, you know, it's what's your ambition on it, or what's your reason for it, whatever. It's like, so it's the same, I suppose, as you could do magic to, in some way, I don't know, have an amazing song, write an amazing song, or whatever people would think it is, or you know, I'm more interested in, like, I wouldn't feel like I did it, you know, and kind of thing when it comes to creativity and that is that it's, I'm trying to do it, you know what I mean? I'm trying to see what I'm capable of, all that. So so there's definitely an element of it would be too easy, but I also don't think it would fulfill the actual need you're trying to fulfill. But when it comes to, say, something like sex or money or something very like that, it's a difference because it could fulfill the need you're actually. Well, if you're looking for sex, is it you're actually looking for intimacy and love and stuff like that? So it mightn't be. If you're looking for easy money, is it that you're looking for security or you're looking for power or whatever? And so again, it mightn't fill the need. It's all going to come down to. But is it any different from praying to God or whatever? I don't know.
Well, it is different because you don't have to. It's the sacrifice element that's problematic for me. Not even like, say, with the Neoplatonists, all that stuff. The Hellenistic people, they did their sacrifices as well. But like, really, those sacrifices are seen as. It's that psychotechnology thing from that Stealing the Fire book we read ages ago. Like, this is basically, you do sacrifices to put yourself in the mood or to get yourself worked up that this thing will happen. That's basically what it is. But then, like, when you're like cutting the head off a cat and asking Boone for money, you're in a mindset where you think that Boone wants this to make it done, rather than seeing it for what it is, in that doing the sacrifice is what raises your consciousness to a connection with the thing that will get it done. You get me?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, that's basically my problem with it. Just the whole sacrifice thing.
Yeah, and there's kind of, I don't know, two things that. One is that it can also be seen as that you're going to defile yourself in honour of something. That's one way of why you're cutting that cat. Don't cut any cat's head off. Anyone, Jesus.
Yeah, no, don't you ever fucking dare do that.
Yeah. So there's a scene that you would do that for me, and so it's in honouring. I understand it. The other thing is, so I want to mention is like say with the sacrifice thing. One of the most impressive, I suppose, sacrifice, and one that makes me feel weird is that the KLF stuff, that the £1 million or whatever.
Money. Yeah.
And I was like, that's so strange, because I was talking about it in the videos. I was like, because part of me is very excited by that, and part of me is very horrified by it. So it gives me, so I can understand by doing something massively taboo or something that's hugely, you're going to feel this, must have some sort of power or some sort of thing. Again, don't cut any cats' heads off. That
Well, that's the good thing with the money. The church of burn thing is that, like, if you're going to burn money, make it has to hurt a little. Don't do a 10 or do 20. Make sure it hurts a little bit. No, I get that.
And I think in the sacrificing the cat I don't think it's hurting you at all. If you're that way inclined, it's certainly hurting the cat.
That's terrible. That's just what
that Russian meme thing. Cut your own head off. Don't cut your own head. That Russian guy who cut his own head off with the chainsaw. What the fucking.
Play Russian roulette with yourself, and then see how much money you want. I don't know. That's my thing. But then again, look,
the other thing, like for people like say who are proper Goetic people and who are into that. They would also see the ludicrousness of cutting cat's head off and all that kind of. It's kind of you're entering. I would suggest you're entering LARPing territory an awful lot in the EA Coeting style element of things. Again, which is weird because he does know what he's on about. In like, he's knowledgeable. He just has deliberately, I don't know, presented it.
Very
in this
larpy,
way.
Very larpy. Well, that's why. That's why I've stood away from all the Celtic stuff that I got mad into there for so long, because it can bring it to a certain point, but then after that, it seems that people are just happy to be in drum circles and whatever the fuck they do, and not kind of push on for union with God, which is supposed to be the spiritual end of all spirituality.
Okay.
Whereas I kind of stood away from the Celtic stuff because it just got to what I saw was I didn't see a lot of people aiming at that. It was just that they were just kind of happy to get to a certain level and then stay on the mountain. Remember we were talking about Weber there a couple of weeks ago? Yeah. Just stay on the mountain. Just stay there because it's nice and fun and whatever. But no, I want to go to the top and then come back down.
Yeah.
And I don't see that in Celtic spirituality. Anywhere I came across it.
Is it in the community, like, is it in the literature? I know there's no Celtic literature, I mean the modern literature, or is it just a community? Like, is that as far as the books go too, or are you just discovering that in the community that people are just happy enough?
I would say it's more in the community. There would be books, but it's among the wider community, it's not done.
Right.
I don't know why. I don't understand. Like, if you're going to be a Buddhist, try and be the best Buddhist you can and get to the non-duality thing. If you're going to be a Druid, then why not get to the end and be one with all essence?
I know, but many magicians don't actually do magic. Many magicians don't meditate. All of this, I think it's a human thing rather than necessarily a Celtic community thing. That we just. I know that. Yeah. Oh no, I know it's not. It's not. But no, I'm just saying that's why I stopped going down that route. That's it. Yeah. I mean, it's still all the gods are still, all the myths and legends. I still love all that stuff, but there's just there doesn't seem to be. Not that there isn't a way to get there, but it's not as prominent as what's in the Western magic tradition or Buddhism or Zen or anything like that. Like, that is from once you get into it, that's what the goal is. Yeah.
Union with the self or the higher self or union with God, whatever you want to call it. But with the Druid stuff, it's. Let's all tell everyone that we're Irish, and I also love the ruins and Ohm, and I'm allowed to because how dare you?
I've also Viking blood in me.
How dare you Irish person, gatekeep my knowledge of Celticism? And it's like, jeez, and like it's just kind
I
of
would love to be in a fly in the wall during some of your conversations in these groups. I really should have just joined just to see them. Spud having an aneurysm. Any wonder you're dying at night, not breathing. These guys
No, but like there's just these kind of there's it's very picky and choosy with the stuff. It's kind of like the Arthurian legends are huge. Obviously, great legends. All right, but like no one wants to acknowledge, not no one, but very few people want to acknowledge that. Well, actually, that's all cool. That's where that came from. That's not Arthur. That's ours. All right, you took that. Like you take all our nice stuff. For fuck's sake, Tristan and Isolde, that massive one. That's Deirdre and Oisin. You know.
Okay.
Like this stuff. What annoyed me with the Celtic stuff was that the stuff that's presented as the canon or as the literature, it's actually older. Do you know, like,
right,
so why aren't we going to the root stuff actually? Because that's where the myth and the knowledge was at its purest. You get me? Mm. Whereas that like for example in the Film Cool Arthur stuff, there's this Merlin figure isn't as pronounced. There's druids popping every now and again, but it's not like that there's this secret confidant that he goes off to every now and again and gets told what to do. Do you know? So, and I just kind of see that as time went on with them, just more and more is added to them as a story rather, and taken away from the myth and the knowledge which is in the earlier stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah. Then that's not to say that, Jesus, don't get me wrong here, that's not to say, oh, the Irish stuff is the best. That's bollocks. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it's just that if the ancient knowledge is present anywhere, then it's in the oldest stuff.
Sure,
obviously.
Yeah.
Do you know? Anyway, end rant. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's kind of, I'm just wondering, is it a case of that the Arthurian stuff and the Celtic stuff, did it branch from this stuff or this original stuff, or is it a case that they came over and had a look and we'll take you like stolen, or is it just
no. What would have happened was it just would have it would have started in one place and then just filters out as stories to other places and then got added on stuff. But like this was an oral tradition, so like the story started say in France, and then went to Wales and then picked up a bit, and then went to Ireland, picked up another bit, and then returned back to France. It's a totally different story now, and it's lost the main kind of knowledge of it, you know.
I remember someone, I don't know who said it, someone recently was saying that the way to look at Celtic type stuff is the way we look at Gnostic stuff, in that it's not just one set of people, it's it's kind of a label that's put on any number of people with very different thoughts and very different ideas and stuff. I thought that was interesting. What is the actual definition of Celtic though? What is the working kind of... Because I mean, obviously, we can understand Viking is that the guys from over there to come over here. You know, like that. That's kind of easier to understand.
I think it's something to do with the related languages of the different peoples.
Right. Okay.
So it is. Yeah. So like, so you have Irish, Welsh, Scottish, Gaelic. Well, Scottish, Mannish, Isle of Man, and Brittany. They're all related to each other, so they'd be the Celts. Yeah?
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah, but they weren't the people. They weren't. Like, that's nonsense.
It's like saying the British Isles people now, kind of thing. Where clearly we're not. Yeah. But I like obviously have fairly. But look,
that was just my experience of it, you know, because I was looking at this, going, right, where is the awakening in this? Where is the non-duality in this? Where is this in it? And it's just okay. People have written on it, but it's mostly kind of as guided meditations and stuff like that. And then there's you get stuff like the protective egg meditation, and they're like, well, we know that the Druids did this, and it's like, no, we know that Gerald fucking Johnny, what's his name, made it up in 1820. So it's I don't know, did it put you off? Did it kind of, let me see, did it stop you following the path that you probably would have, or like was it just it was the right time to, like, or you still maybe maybe you still, I don't know. You don't talk about it as much as you used to. No, I don't talk about it. No, I still like the kind of romantic idea of it, but as a method of awakening, spirituality, oneness, yada yada yada, then I don't see it in Celtic tradition.
Because it's
I just don't see it.
Is it just because it's reconstructed?
And there's two. there's too many holes in it. It's like there's a great group on Facebook that does research on Ohm language and stuff, and you kind of have to take it that everything you know about Ohm is wrong, basically, and go into this group and say, right, what's right and what's wrong here? Where should I start? Who are the good people to know about? But like that group as well, it's a good group, but it can be very gatekeepy and. Not racist, not xenophobic. What's the word I'm looking for?
Bigoted.
It's not quite patriotic either, but it's it's kind of like, well, I mean, that person's research is no good because they're American, and I don't think that's fair at all. Is
it bordering on there's one pure race, one pure blood? Maybe.
No, I wouldn't go that far, but it's only 1 or 2 steps away from it, which I don't appreciate at all. And that's another thing. That is a thing that's in the Celtic community that you see on Facebook and Reddit. Yeah. You have this kind of xenophobia.
That pops up in the runic stuff as well, and paganism as well. There seems to be some. I think it's probably, and this is me not knowing anything. This is just an assertion. It's because when you're trying to trace back your roots or whatever, there's an obvious type of thing of tracing it back to a purity or to an original form and trying to recapture the good old days or the correct bloodline or whatever it is. So I can understand how you can get to it from it rather than kind of celebrating. But yes, definitely you see it. You particularly seem to see it in runic stuff. That they're just kind of the what is it?
See, that was always kind of funny for me because, like, if you know anything about the Vikings at all, and it's the same with the Slavs and the Celts. The Slavs are Celts who stopped moving. They got to Eastern Europe and went, Eastern and Central Europe and went, this is sound, I like it here, not going anywhere. Right. The Celts went, see them Alps? Fuck yeah, man, I'm going over them. And they did. And then they ended up as far as Ireland. And then the Celts that went to Norway and Sweden and Denmark and Finland and the other one, is there more? Whatever. They were Celts first, so like Odin, he's Dagda. He's exactly the same as Dagda, but he's also the same as Deus Pater, who became Zeus in the Proto-Indo-European people. So like all the Celtic stuff is basically a retelling of the Proto-Indo-European stuff anyway. So it's kind of like, where the fuck is the start? Where is the point? And okay, like I understand that people have a calling to the Vikings or to the Irish Celtic or the Scottish Celtic or whatever, but I think it's just in me to try and find, well, you'll be the same, man. What's the actual root of this? Where does it come from? Because like how much has been added onto this over the years where like, no, I'd like to go back to the root. Like, it'd be great. I think there is now. I don't think it's that old. There's meant to be a modern translation of the Bible. I think that'd be fascinating. Compared to what like the King James is and stuff like that. Yeah, which is full of bad stuff or full of mistranslations and all. It'd be really interesting to read something that is like, okay, this is actually translated from
the original, the oldest text we have.
The early books. Like, it'd be a fascinating read, and the amount of differences would be, I'd say it'd be good crack. Like,
Jesus was a girl. What? Jesus was Jewish. Why didn't someone tell us this? Even if things like the virgin birth, which is like is more originally meant an unmarried woman, and anyone born out of wedlock was born from a virgin birth. And like you can go, okay, that's changes story. Or
that does change it.
The big thing that Abraham and Isaac, the sacrifice and all that kind of with the realization that the baby is 36 changes that story dramatically. All right. So just an elf trying to kill his middle-aged son. Different story.
Probably wanted to off the elf so he get the land a bit quicker.
It's my field. God told me I had to kill you.
Each to their own as well. Back to the Celtic stuff or Viking, whatever. Like. Yeah, whatever makes you happy and all that. But for me, it was just I was looking for, or I'm looking for, or that's my path seems to be to go up the mountain and then to come back down rather than playing on them. No, which is dismissive as well. I don't mean to be dismissive. I just mean that.
I think it's only dismissive if you say that it's not the path for someone else. You're saying, you know,
it's not for me.
This is my path. I mean,
yeah. I love the myths and the stories, and they're fascinating. They're great crack, like, and they're bonkers. They're really fun, and the gods are nuts, like, and it's fun. But at the same time, it's like, I just wanted more. I think there's more. You know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my kind of
greedy, Tommie. I'm fucking greedy. I want it all. That's it. I want it all. Because I only have 4 lives left.
When I kind of got into the Celtic stuff as well, because I wanted to be drawn to something that, because the Viking thing is hugely kind of I like, but I don't feel connected, or that I'm able to be connected, because I don't feel like I'm a Viking. I don't feel like I'm Nordic. You know, even though, I mean, you can make a huge case for particularly East Coast Ireland being, I probably do have Viking blood in me, whatever. But so I looked at the Celtic stuff as well. But I didn't find the kinship in that as well. I found a kind of stories that, but this felt like other people's stories. I don't know. So maybe it's that I have to further investigate to get to the kind of thing, or maybe I'm just, you know, forget about names, forget about stories, and just go talk.
There's so much of it as well. So much of it as well, and Kingsley talks about this a bit, in that, like, you know, words and symbols have changed meaning so much over the years that, like, if you pick up, say, what's Ireland's most famous myth, the fucking, what's it called, Untamed, the war about the cows.
Boculia. Well, what is that? The Brembod.
Tain Boculia. Yeah. So it's this war basically between 2 parts of Ireland over these amazing bulls. Okay, it sounds bonkers. It is bonkers.
Very, very sexy bulls, crack. Though. Really sexy, great muscular bulls. Proper bulls, yeah.
Great crack. Cullen is in it, and he's just kicks ass. And
a white and a brown one. No, means nothing. Yeah. They're not correlating to anything.
And the words and symbols have changed for you. So when you're reading it now, as someone living in the 21st century, and you're reading it, and you think that, you know, a crow flying west means this, but back then for the Celts it meant something completely different. And you're
even the joking aside about the white and the brown bull, I mean, reading that now, and you could read that into it, you know, and it's like, but that's definitely not what that's symbolising at all. But like,
of course, there was no colour based racism back then. There was racism based on what tribe you were in. That's the tribalism. That's not racism.
Tribalism, not racism.
But like, there was no. How could you be racist? There was no such thing as black people back then. For these people,
and we've kind of sanitized Morrigan very much so, and you know, and in modern kind of things, where she was like, she's got a war. She's, you know, she fucked with you literally, you know, and but it's I suppose the retelling of these stories and trying to make them kind of relevant to, you know, to continue the story, so they keep getting told, I suppose, is the reason why they evolve and they change. Yeah. In that they kind of lose or you have the Patrick Harper thing of this is how that thing is presenting itself to us now, and so that's the thing you engage with because it's how it's presented to you now. Yeah.
It's hard to find fault with his argument, isn't it? It's really hard to find fault with it.
But at the same time, it's the fault in it is that it doesn't answer the thing that you're looking for. So, you know, if I'm not feeling connected to the thing now, then I have to look further back, or I have to look for something.
Yeah. I suppose that probably was with me. Then I just got as far as I could with Sledgehammer, and just went as far as I could, and went, no, this isn't where the answer lies to. Yeah. To.
But you did go back to the Tantra stuff though. That's where you ended up though, isn't it? Like in the Aryan stuff and the
back to what?
At the very beginning, you know, like to that original stuff, isn't it? Like that very first civilization that we know of, where the tantric stuff is.
The Proto-Europeans. Proto-Indo-Europeans. Yeah, that's where everything comes from. That they were pre-Vedics, you know.
But we know fuck all about them.
We know fuck all about them. The only thing people can. What they do is they take words and they retrace them back to a supposed beginning, and then they're able to trace that influence out into the world. I watched some video about some fella, and he's like, look, the Proto-Europeans are like they took over everywhere. Like, no one could stop them. Like, these were just savages, you know, and their influence is everywhere now. Like, it's in all languages. Proto-European, it's all language. Like they just took over.
Right,
They're the most successful race of people who have ever existed, and it's ridiculous.
Apart from the fact that we see the map. No, one of their names or very successful.
Yeah. Because even like the god names are we don't know. Well, they're fairly sure they're the genuine names, but it's still stuff that's traced back etymologically. That's kind of stuff. Yeah. Fascinating stuff. It's really interesting stuff. If you're into nerdy stuff like that, you know. But,
but I did try and get into it, and I did spend some time. I read a few books about it, but it was kind of. It's the thing, but there's so much speculation around it. I just kind of find it.
That's true too,
I felt in one sense a bit like I was wasting time because you're just like, well, I could make up my own thing about this too. And, whereas they definitely have a much more educated kind of guess on it. It's just like, right? If we don't know what it's true, why am I wasting my time? Speculating. And I understand speculation is fun and all that kind of stuff. But that was kind of why I stopped. Interesting. We're definitely not going to get to George Harrison again, so I'm going to take it as a sign that we've tried twice. George's not interested in being talked about, so we'll do the other documentary next week.
Sound alright. We'll do the other one then.
Do you want to tell people what it is?
Shit! I don't remember what it's called. It's not Terence McKenna. It's Ram Dass and
hold on. It's Netflix.
Timothy O'Leary.
Well, it was on Netflix anyway. Hold on till
I think it's on Irish and UK Netflix. All right, yeah, I think it is. I don't remember what it's called though. Ram Dass, Tim Leary. Look it up. That's what it's called. It's great.
Right, it's not coming up because it's the other one. It's Fierce Grace is coming up. There's a couple of Ram Dass documentaries. The one where
he's dying is very sad.
Yeah, it is very sad. Going Home is not that one.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. So, Dying to Know. That's it. That's what it's called. Ram Dass, Timothy Leary, Dying to Know. 2014, really? Oh, I thought that was more recent.
Yeah, it's not that old. No. I was just saying it's not that old.
And I was saying, I thought it was more recent. Well, let me sure it's a couple of years ago.
More or less the same.
Yeah, so that's what we'll talk about next week.
That was good, yeah, because I've watched a good bit more of old Ram by the time it comes around as well. I like him. I like his I like the cut of his jib. It seems fairly what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like you watch some of the Zen lads and it's about you can see it all written on their faces, like it's a constant fucking struggle. It's just beast them down, and eventually they just give into it and it works. Whereas like Ram is like, it's all good, man. It's all good. It's all within you already, and you'll get there once you once you're able to, once you see it. And you're not.
And it's also a kind of testament to the whole thing of thinking that that you can only have, I suppose, these awakening experiences when you were young and stuff. That one of his biggest awakening experiences, if not his biggest awakening experiences, was towards the end of his life after he'd been Ram Dass for years. So just when you think you know all the answers, the universe go, "Ein Minute bitte." Merely tell you.
Yeah. Oh, I like him. Yeah, seems good. I don't know much about Timothy Leary other than the LSD stuff. Little bits of it. I don't know a lot, so it'll be a good one. Right, so.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Right. Bye. Talk to you next week. Bye.